So I am creating a series here. It's going to be a vlog series, and this vlog is going to be about me in real time tracking things that I'm deliberately manifesting, how long it's taking for things to manifest, taking notes, learning as I go, and really trying to learn from my experience. And I want to do this on YouTube and share my experience with you guys so that I can be completely transparent of what I'm going through on my manifestational journey. Now, to start this episode off, I actually want to talk about some things that I've already manifested up until now. And then from here, I'm going to keep track of things that I'm manifesting in the future. And as things manifest, I will create videos kind of showing my experience, what I've learned, what worked, what didn't work, and how things manifested. So let's go ahead and start talking about things that I have already manifested. Now, I'm using the law of attraction. I'm using law of attraction principles to manifest these things deliberately. I'm using techniques like visualization, focusing on a desire, and putting attention, and I'm getting very specific. A lot of these traditional, I'm writing things down, a lot of these traditional law of attraction concepts, but the thing is, they work. They absolutely work. Now, my journey's been interesting. I haven't been doing a lot of deliberate manifestations for the past, 4 years. I've been studying the law of attraction for about 8 years, but the last 4 years, I went through I used to be part of I was quite religious. I was a part of a church. And as I learned about the law of attraction, it really kind of threw everything in the air because it was working for me and it made everything in the world and in the universe make sense. And so I kind of went through a religious crisis for a little while, trying to see where I had to plant my feet to kind of regain my footing. And so for 4 years since then, I've really had to work through a lot of this and to get myself to where I am today. I've also been working on a lot of different beliefs around relationships, like having it with significant others and whatnot. Because the church I grew up in, you looked at relationships with your significant other in a very serious, like you're going to go to heaven or hell, basically, depending on your relationship. And so I've had to reflect on how I look at relationships and the meaning that they actually provide in our lives. So a lot of outside work going around. So all the deliberate manifestation had to be put on hold. So let's talk about, and if you guys have any questions about anything I'm talking about, shoot a comment down below, or any comments or anything you want to hear. So let's talk about what I've already manifested. So these are not in order of like when they manifested. I just wrote down a number of things here. And this isn't everything I've deliberately manifested, but these are the ones that really stand out, that I really applied visualization and setting an intention and manifesting what I was asking for. So the first thing I want to talk about is a number of years ago manifested brand new tires on my vehicle. I was driving a little Chevy Sonic and it did not do good in the snow and my tires were bald, and at the time I was broke. I did not have very much money. I didn't know how I was going to come up with $500-600 to put new tires on my car. And I thought, well, all I need are the front tires. So let's manifest 2 new front tires, because the back tires were in pretty good condition, but the front tires were like destroyed. So I was putting that out there, doing the manifestational techniques. And if you want a video on the exact technique that I use, I can make a video for that as well. But it works. So I use this technique, visualizing it, seeing it, write it down, focusing on it, thinking about it, seeing myself having it. And sure enough, about 2 weeks into doing this, I used to work for my dad, and we went to lunch together one day, and we went to a pizza place, and we pulled into the pizza place, and it had been snowing out, and we got out of the car, and he looks at my tires, and he goes, "Dang, you need new tires." And I was like, "I know." In my mind, I'm thinking, I'm working on that. The tires are coming. I'm going to have new tires soon. And he goes, "After lunch, let's run down to the tire shop, and I'm going to buy you some new tires." And I was just like, "Wait, what?" You're just going to buy me new tires? So we went and ate lunch, and we drove to the tire shop just down the road, and he paid and bought for me to have new tires on front of my car, which is what I needed. And it's exactly what I visualized having. So that deliberately manifested exactly what I was asking for. Another story is, actually, this one was pretty recent. This was just within the last 6 months. That exact car, that little Chevy Sonic that I had, I was like, it's time to sell this car. It's starting to have a few problems. I want something better. I want something that's going to be good on the snow, because I live in Idaho, and here in Idaho, we get a decent amount of snow some years. And I didn't want to have to borrow a vehicle from somebody else. I wanted my own vehicle to be able to drive in the snow and not have any issues. So I'm like, well, what am I gonna manifest? And at first I was like, well, first I want to manifest selling my car so I can have the cash, because I do have a second vehicle. I also have a van that I drive. So I can sell this car, and then I'm gonna manifest a vehicle that fits the description. Well, my brother presents a vehicle and says, hey, I have this vehicle. It was pretty crazy how he ended up with the vehicle. Completely fix it up. It's a Nissan Xterra. He had put a lift on it, the huge tires. It's 4-wheel drive. Thing's a beast in the snow. And I was like, I really want to buy that. So I was thinking about my car, and I was like, well, I want to sell my car. I fixed up like 90% of the problems on my car. There was quite a bit of work that needed to be done. So I fixed it up real nice so I could sell it and feel comfortable, because I don't like selling a car that's got a lot of problems. I'd feel really bad about that. So I put the car, got it all put together, wrapped up, put it up for sale, and it had one little problem that was bothering me. It smelled like exhaust a little bit when it would sit in idle. And I thought, man, maybe there's an exhaust leak or something, but I couldn't figure it out. And at that point, it was going to cost a lot to fix it. So I thought, well, we'll just see what we can do. And so I was like, well, I want to sell it to I want to get $5,000 out of it. I'm going to list it for 6, or it was somewhere around 6. I want $5,000 out of it. And I want to sell it to somebody who will really appreciate the car, who'd be happy they're getting it, and who also knows how to work on cars, so that I feel comfortable selling it with that exhaust smell on it that I smell once in a while. So if it's a problem, it's easy for them to fix because they're a mechanic. Easy peasy, right? So that's what I want to do. Well, what do you know? About a week or two later, someone gets a hold, and I had a lot of people hitting me up on this car, but nothing felt right. And I was putting out what I want. I'm like, this is what I want to, this is who I want to sell it to. And sure enough, randomly, person hits me up. They come see the car. They buy it on the spot, but I knew they were coming. I knew they were going to come by it when they messaged. The energy lined up, because this was a few months ago. I've had quite a bit of practice with manifesting, and you get to where you can feel the energy. And they came, and I thought, they're going to offer me $5,000. They're going to buy it. And they were super good vibing. They were cool. They loved the car. And he said, I'll give you $5,000 for it. And obviously I couldn't say done, sold. So I was like, I had to make it seem like, oh, $5,000. Yeah, I think I can take $5,000. In my mind, I'm going, that's exactly what I knew they were going to offer. And the guy, guess what? He was buying it for his daughter, who had wrecked her Dodge Neon just like a week before. Thankfully, she was okay. It rolled. She hit a patch of ice or something and flew off the road. She wanted a smaller car, just like what I was selling. It was a nice car. My little Chevy Sonic was a nice little car. Got great gas mileage, great for commuting, which is what the girl was doing. And he's a mechanic. He tears cars apart all the time and rebuilds stuff. In fact, he showed me a project he was working on. And I was like, this is exactly who I wanted to sell it to. This is exactly it. So they bought the car. And guess what? I had the money to go buy the other Nissan Xterra that my brother had rebuilt and got it all ready for me. Boom. And now I've got my car. That was a cool, deliberate manifestation, selling that Chevy Sonic. So law of attraction's real, you guys. This is like legit. It works. It just requires focus and intention. You got to believe it as well, but you start small and work your way up, and you can get to where you manifest things deliberately. Okay, something else is I manifested an exercise bike. Did the exact same technique. It's when this was, gosh, 6-7 years ago. It's been a while ago. I wanted an exercise bike, and this was really early in my manifestational journey. And I thought, there's room I was in an apartment at the time, and I was like, there's room right here where I could put this exercise bike. And I really wanted this exercise bike. And so, not a specific exercise bike, but an exercise bike. It would be a good one. And so I just kept putting it out there, seeing it in my mind, visualizing it right where I wanted it in my apartment. And gosh, not long, I can't remember, it was maybe like a week after doing that and really focusing on it, I just randomly decided to put up on Facebook. I'm like, hey, I'm looking for an exercise bike. Something really simple like that. And I wasn't trying to make it happen. I just randomly thought how I'm going to do this. And I was just almost not even paying attention to what I was doing. And I punched in there on Facebook. What do you know? A few minutes later, an aunt of mine that I haven't talked to in a long time was like, hey, I've got one that I'm not using, just sit in my garage. You can have it. And I was like, no way. She's like, just come pick it up. So I'm like, sick. So I went over there across town. I picked it up, brought it home, and set it exactly where I envisioned it. And it fit perfectly the way it was built. Perfect for my little apartment. And I had my exercise bike. So boom, another deliberate manifestation. It works. Okay. Another one that was a really big deal for me was my t-shirt business. Because back in the day, I was really struggling financially, and I had gone through a divorce and was taking care of my kids, and I couldn't work full time, send my kids to daycare, dealing with them going to school and whatnot, because I had 2 kids, and coming home, making meals, doing everything. It was too much. I couldn't do it all. So I was like, I have to do something different. So I started building a t-shirt business online. Now, to make this story short, in a nutshell, I had a lot of resistance through this period though. This one took a while to manifest. But I had insane desire to make this happen. And I worked really hard at it as well, which now I know it doesn't require so much hard work. It requires alignment. But I wanted to have over 100 orders a day selling online. That would give me so much money. So much money. And I kept working towards that and also doing the technique. Granted, this time I was doing too much hard work, but I was doing the technique with it. But all that hard work was because there was resistance. I was trying to make it happen. Whereas you don't try to make things happen. You just get into alignment with your desire on that frequency, and you just kind of let the energy carry you. And you just do things naturally, and you just know what's coming. Anyways, what do you know? My business starts taking off. It's doing really well. And I'm making enough money. I end up getting into a house, which is a different manifestation I'm going to share in a moment. And after I get into that house, I chilled, I relaxed. Money was still a little tight because my business didn't explode or anything. It was just doing good enough. And 1 month I was like not making enough money. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills next month. I don't know how I'm going to pay rent. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I thought, but you know what? I've been through this enough. I know that things manifest, because there's other stories that I haven't shared with manifestation and money just coming. And with things always working out for me. So I was like, but it doesn't matter, because I know that the money will come somehow. Maybe it will come through my t-shirt business like I've put out there. Maybe it'll come from somewhere else. I don't know. I just put no pressure on it. I learned how to let go and just trust the universe and just keep moving forward and trust that it's all going to come. Well, what do you know? It's like a week at the end of March. This is a few years back. It's probably like 4 or 5 years ago. It was a week at the end of March, and I knew what my desires were. I just relaxed, and I needed to have rent payment in like 10 days. And I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. And all of a sudden, my business takes off like absolute craziness. And I can't even put into words how crazy it was. I didn't have the equipment to handle the amount of orders coming in. I had a couple of days where I had 160 orders, 170 orders coming in. I made so much money really fast. The problem was I was a little in over my head. Be careful what you wish for. I didn't know how to handle that many orders, and I didn't have all the equipment, and some of my equipment broke down. And so I ended up being like 3 weeks out on orders. I spent like $20,000 on just more equipment and stuff to get to where I can be producing what I needed for the orders to go out. And it was insane, but I mean, it blew up. And after being so busy, I was working like 16 hours a day, like 7 days a week, because it was so busy. I hired people to help me out. And even with everyone hired, I even hired my sister to come help me with my kids. It was like insane. Absolutely insane. And really cool experience, but kind of traumatic too, because I was working so much. I remember one day I was so worn out, I was so tired at the end of the day when I went to go get undressed to get into bed, because I sleep in my skivvies. My underwear was inside out and backwards. So that's how it was the whole day. I was so tired when I changed, getting out of the shower or whatever from the morning before. I put my underwear on inside out and backwards. So it was crazy. But I manifested incredible success with my t-shirt business. And From there, I had to kind of reevaluate, okay, I do like making a lot of money, but I got to recalibrate and figure out how to make so much money, but not be working so much and kind of change things up. But I wanted to share that story because it works. It's amazing how powerful our thoughts are when we envision things and we just go for it. But with faith and trust, knowing that it's coming to us and we're just in the flow going towards it, but we're not working hard. You're in the flow, you're in alignment. It works. Now, I want to share the story of my house. I'm at 15 minutes. I don't like to make these videos too long, but this first episode, I really want to share some of these things because it's going to be a part of my vlog and my manifestational journey, and I want to share these manifestations as I go. I'll share some more in the next video too. But the house that I ended up being I'm in right now, I was in my apartment and I needed a bigger house because I was running a t-shirt printing business from an apartment. My apartment was maxed. I mean, you couldn't fit. There was like little pathways to sneak through, and my kids, they thought it was so fun. And these pathways through the apartment, they were playing games and having a blast. I'm like, this is not going to work. And didn't have a dining area because it was where my printing equipment was at. So anyways, I was like, okay, I need a bigger house. I need a bigger house. I need a bigger house. Now this one was a little different because I actually found a house that I wanted. And it was pretty nearby, and it was by my kids' school, and I thought that was the house that I wanted. I was like, I'm going to manifest this house. So I was envisioning myself being in that house, doing all those things in the house, running the business. It was a nice, decent-sized house. I want to manifest enough money to get in this house. And at the time, I wasn't making a lot of money, but I'm like, I will manifest it. I will manifest it. Somehow it's going to work out. Well, this is where it's interesting, and I share this story on purpose because sometimes it's important to not be hung up on a specific thing. Put out there what you want, be specific, but don't be hung up on the specifics. Just like with my t-shirt business, I was like, when I had a week or whatever before rent was due, I was like, maybe the money will come in through my t-shirt business. Maybe it'll come in from somewhere else. I don't know. I just know things are going to work out. And it did come through my t-shirt business like I had been envisioning, but there was no pressure saying it has to be this because it can come from anywhere. So this time I was putting all the attention on this one specific house. But the main intention was I need a bigger house. Well, randomly one day while I'm working, I get a message on Facebook from this girl I know who says, I haven't talked to this girl a lot. She was married. We were friends with this couple while I was married. And so I still had a relationship with these guys, but the girl, the wife, messages me because she knew I'd been divorced, and she saw me on Facebook, some post that I had put up, and was like, oh, hey, my parents have a house that they're trying to rent out at X amount of dollars per month. It was $1,000 a month at the time, which was really inexpensive in the market that we were in. I mean, it'd be inexpensive now too, but way less, and it was actually less than the apartment that I was in. And it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. Nice little starter home. And it had a garage, it had a backyard, it had 2 bedrooms for my kids. So more room in the house. So I was like, this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. Because I don't want a huge house because I'm a single dad. There's a lot of work to take care of. It really is, having a big house. Cleaning it, dusting it. I mean, oh my gosh. Even just taking care of this little house by myself can be a lot of work. And so I was like, this is perfect. This house is perfect. I came and looked at it and I was like, I'm definitely moving in. And the girl that talked me into it, or sent me the message, was like, I know it's a really good deal, but my parents only like to rent out to people that they feel they can trust in the house because, you can have tenants that destroy the place, right? And so they're okay receiving less rent, knowing they're getting someone in the house that they really like having there, that they can trust, and know the house is going to be taken care of. And I was like, what an opportunity. And this came out of left field. I mean, out of nowhere. But I was in my apartment. I didn't know how things were going to work out, but I knew things would. So I kept moving forward, maxing out my apartment more and more, just knowing something would present itself. And it did. And I got into this house that I'm in now, and I love this little house. It's been perfect for me. It's got the 2 bedrooms, one for each kid. It's got my bedroom here. It's got the way that the living area is set up perfectly to go into the garage where I have my shop. Some of my printing equipment is in the house. I mean, the way it's laid out it's literally perfect for what I'm doing right now. And that manifested. You can't say that didn't manifest. I mean, it came out of left field, and I've been in this house, and the rent has raised a little bit because the market's gone up a lot, but I'm still quite a bit under what everyone else has to pay for rent. When I tell people, like, what do you pay for rent? I tell them, and they're like, dang, bro, you got a good deal. And I'm like, I know, dude. So pretty freaking awesome. So it works. It works. It works. It works. Now, in my next episode, I'm going to share with you guys something that I actually just manifested deliberately the other day in my intention, why I'm making these videos. And I'm really excited to share with you guys what's been manifesting and how things progress and to see where this goes. Because right now, I mean, my life's pretty good. Things are going really well, but I'm not like super wealthy or anything, you know? And I'm excited to share this in real time so you guys can see the progress with me as I do this with you guys. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope this enhances your belief in the law of attraction and that you can be powerful and that you can manifest things that you want in life. Now, another video I want to make is figuring out what your desires are and how to manifest and whatnot. But just know it works and you can do it. There's so many good books out there, but I'll have more content coming out explaining how this process works, what I do, and what doesn't work in my experience as I'm going, that didn't work, this did work, putting the information together. So welcome to my vlog and my journal. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on future content. See you guys in the next episode. Peace.